Something Manchester United have never been able to master the art of is knowing when to sell players. When is the right time to let a player go? What is the right offer? Do we renew contracts? Are we accepting mediocrity? That is United's problem and has been United's problem for a long, long time. I'm going into players tonight, specifically Scott McTominay, and asking the question, is it the right time to sell Scott if the offer on the table is enough? What is enough? I'm asking you in the live chat and asking you afterwards as well in the comment section when the live is finished to get your comments in. What I want from you guys is for every player we talk about tonight, whether it is the right time for him to go. Have we overhyped this particular player? And everything else that comes with the package, which is being at Manchester United. Are we the creators of our own problem here at this football club? I'm Adam, this is Forever United TV. Welcome along to the show, everybody. I hope you are all fantastically well. We are well into the week now. Monday is gone. One step closer. Last internationals are tonight and tomorrow night. Everyone's finished and everyone's on the way home. One player already on his way home. In fact, his home is Bruno Fernandes, our captain. Given the rest of international break off, he's already back in Manchester. He'll already be back at Carrington and sorting his preparations out ahead of the weekend and what is absolute crunch time. In other news as well about Manchester United and who has the power to sign and buy players ahead of the manager now, there's more news and stories about that as well. And it kind of interacts with what we're talking about tonight. Manchester United need to change in the transfer market. Are we all being suckered into that nostalgia and homegrown talent? Keep that player on for as long as possible. There has been many players that we have wasted years with at this football club when we could have sold them before. I'm going to start with Scott McTominay. I want to get your thoughts on this. There is already a poll up in the live chat, people. Get involved in it. It is asking a simple question. Actually, am I live here or what? I can't tell if I'm live or not. Connect streaming software. I don't know if I'm actually live. Stream setup, help. Guys, you tell me if I'm live or not. I don't know. I can't see anything on the stream right now, so I'm not sure if I'm actually live. It says I am on mine here, but I'm just going to double check everything. Let's just make sure it's all in the right place. Let me just see. Stream, what's going on here? Ignore stream service. Why is that? Why is nothing working on my streaming? Right, hang on a minute. Something is definitely not right here. Oh, God, I don't know. Guys, tell me, am I live or not? Something is wrong. I think I'm live. I can't tell if I'm live or not. My numbers and nothing is showing up. I'm just going to reset YouTube and see if that makes a difference. I need to see you all. It says I'm live at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Kaz is shouting up. She's screaming at me. I'm live. I can see myself on screen. I'm live. Everybody calm down. Stop panicking. You silly people. I'm joking. God, it's a challenge, this, isn't it? It really is. As soon as I mentioned Scott McTominay, someone has just gone in there and sniped me out stream-wise. They've just gone in and gone, don't talk about Scott. You're not allowed to talk about Scott when it comes to Manchester United and possibly selling him. No, stop right now. I'm okay. I'm here. Calm down, everyone. What are you panicking for? Anyway, I want to get in. There is a poll up right now. Let's get into the content again, shall we? There is a poll up right now, which is a simple question to you guys in the chat, in the live show. And if you are watching later on, this is what it says. It says a £30 million offer comes in for Scott McTominay. It's a simple yes or no answer. Do you accept it? 80% are saying yes right now. 20% are saying no. Guys, get your comments in the live section right now. Tell me why we're keeping Scott McTominay. I've already made cases for Scott McTominay for staying. I understand his position in the team. And most importantly for Scott and Manchester United, I think that he understands his role within the team as well and where his career is going at Manchester United, where he stands in the pecking order. I think that's important for United. And I think with Scott, if he wants to survive at the club, he is definitely going to have to get into his head that he isn't going to be a first-team player. But this is the question I'm asking right now, and he's got 1 year left on his contract after this season finishes. the problem I've got is Manchester United have never known when to sell a player. Scott McTominay's stock has never been higher. There's never been a perfect time to sell Scott McTominay. He's 27. He's still got some legs. He's still got some years left in them legs at a decent level, and I think he can hold a place down in a mid-table team in the Premier League. I really do. I think he is possibly a starter for other clubs, just not for Manchester United. If that right offer comes in, 30 million, United, I feel, have to accept it. Anything below that, I'm not accepting it. So that's where I'm at with Scott McTominay. I think he's good enough to be in the squad if he's happy to be on the bench. The problem that you add to that is, and Scott's had a good season. I mean, 12 goal contributions, 3 assists and 9 goals. He had it all together with his Scotland. I think that's 16 goals in an actual season. That's pretty damn good. That's nothing to shirk at that at all. It's actually really good numbers, and I think a lot of midfielders would snatch your hand off if you offered them that finishing a season. And we've still got a dozen games left to go this season. So Scott has definitely earned himself a place on Manchester United's matchday squad, I feel. I think he has definitely turned a few people's heads and convinced a few more people that he has got a role and he can do a job for the football club. But again, Casemiro and Rafael Varane could have done a job for Real Madrid, but Real Madrid knew when to move them players on. This is where United have completely fallen behind over the years for me. If a £30 million offer comes in for Scott McTominay, I believe that Manchester United need to take that offer. That is more than enough for him at his age and with 1 year left on his contract. I do believe that he's capable, like I said, of holding a place down in a first team, say like West Ham United. If United were looking to improve their squad, say for instance, and I think someone in the chat said it before, that Scott McTominay as a part X for the likes of Paqueta at West Ham or something like that. That's the sort of deal that United could be doing and looking at. We have over the years just held on to players forever and a day and not got rid of players when we could have, and tried to believe or convince ourselves that these players were good enough to take Manchester United forward. We are not going to win the league with Scott McTominay starting. If the bid came in, could we then use that money to go and buy or contribute to buying a player that is going to go into that first team and make Manchester United better? Yes, but only if that right offer comes in and Manchester United are going to reinvest that back in. Now, before, I'd have been sceptical about United selling Scott McTominay because I don't believe that the money would have gone straight in to strengthening the football squad. I don't. But now with Ineos, I feel a lot more confident that not only can we sell players at the right time and get a decent value for them, but we are going to invest that money straight back into the playing squad. Use what we've got to balance PSR and financial fair play and use it to our advantage, because let's not forget, Scott McTominay is 100% profit as well, whichever way you look at it. So he helps us out in financial fair play for UEFA's rules and regs as well, because he's homegrown, and we get to keep everything and use that to balance the books. So it's going to help us there. And this is what you have to look at. It's either doubling Scott McTominay's money, which is what he's going to want, which is going to take him well over 100 grand a week for a squad player. If Scott McTominay was happy to accept maybe 80 grand or something like that and understand where he is in this Manchester United squad, and that's if no one came in with a £30 million bid, then I'm happy for Scott to be in this Manchester United squad. I am. But everybody knows, and no one can convince me otherwise, that Scott is going to help Manchester United win that title. He's not. If Ineos are looking to move forward, they need to know how to work the system. And they will be learning off other people. Like we spoke about this morning, Berardi being given the power to run this football club is the smartest move that you can make. He's the man that balances books and works out contracts, says when a player's value is at its highest and when to sell a player, how much to bid on another player to come into Manchester United. He knows all of that, and Ineos have got that in situ right now, and that starts in the summer. That's fantastic. We also talked this morning about Omar Berardi being the one who is going to hire and fire the likes of Erik Ten Hag, or get rid of players like we said, or bring in extra coaching staff and whatever. It is going to be down to them to run the football club. And that, I feel, every United fan should be happy with. The big thing from it is and we know what Barada works like. He is a big part of what we're talking about now, which is when to sell players. And when the value is at the right mark for us to actually make money off, we need to utilise what we've got. And we have got some homegrown players that can bring us some money this summer and definitely help us moving forward. Because the decision may be taken out of Erik ten Hag's hands. Like the noises and the stories coming out are of Ineos fully planning ahead with Erik ten Hag in situ as the manager for the start of next season. Fair enough. In them same reports, it's also saying that Manchester United's transfer committee / structure, whatever it is, are going to be the ones that buy and sell the players, not the manager. So Ten Hag is having to completely change the way he is just to stay at Manchester United. Now, he may end up, like we said this morning, just leaving Manchester United and going for more control at another club and a better offer for him and how he wants to work. But the noises are that he is fully committed to seeing out what he started at Manchester United and still wants to be successful. This is how a lot of managers are going to have to be. If you want to work at the top level now, there is not one manager that has the say-so going forward. Erik ten Hag has not worked at a top level club until he came to United. Ajax, superb, but not top level. Not scrutiny, not expectation levels, nothing near Manchester United. You're not going to get full power at Barca, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, even City, Liverpool. You're not going to get it. So Erik ten Hag has to realise where he is, and this is the problem United have had in many a years gone by. Managers have come in, and this is why we've still got all this playing squad and everyone lingering around. Managers come in, managers go. But managers come in thinking they're getting full control of running Manchester United, and they cannot handle it. It is an impossible job to manage United on its own. And that's where the mistakes have been made. You're now taking that away. And I think Ten Hag and the noises that are being made, if he is going to stay, he has to change. So he's willing to change his ways to stay at Manchester United. And that, I feel, is a positive. Because it means that he understands what Manchester United want and what Ineos want. If it has been made clear to Erik that it isn't going to be all about him and what his say-so is, then we have to back that fully and go ahead with Erik ten Hag next season. What he can do on that training ground, we've still not seen. I was listening to Andy Mitten talking on the radio earlier on today, and he was saying, look, we can see what Erik ten Hag wants to do, but he's just not got the right players to do it. There is a plan there. If he gets what he needs this summer and things start to move forward, then it could be the biggest decision that Manchester United has ever made in not jumping the gun for a change and sacking the manager. In them same reports, it's saying that Erik ten Hag and his position at United is also based on if we're in the Champions League next season. Again, there it comes. That's just popped up again and is basically the be-all and end-all of it. It is, isn't it? Manchester United need to be in the Champions League and Erik ten Hag needs to be there. And this is why I brought Scott McTominay in right now. The decision, if they do keep Ten Hag, even if we don't make the Champions League, could all boil down to a financial one. And United needing to balance the books by selling certain players. Scott would be top of that list because of his 100% profit, and he does carry value. He does. He is an asset for Manchester United financially right now as well as coming on off the bench and being a great squad player. He is. But it's not Ten Hag's decision anymore. That's the big factor in this. Like we said this morning, it's going to be down to Barada. It's going to be down to Dan Ashworth. Ten Hag isn't going to have the say and isn't the last say anymore. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that. And Scott McTominay, I feel, is going to be the example. If United give him a new contract, then I think we're accepting that we are not making that big leap this summer. I understand, though, why Scott McTominay would stay. I also understand that. So, for me, I get it, but I think United need to learn when to sell players. He has been at the club too long and isn't going to make us any better than what we are right now. Are there better players we can get for the value we can get for Scott? Yes, there are. And that's the decision that Ineos are going to have to make. Into the chat we go. Trevor says McTominay wouldn't make it onto the Proclaimers squad, and there's only 2 of them. And I would walk 500 miles, says Trevor. Trevor's been drinking something or smoking something today. He's well on top of it. I don't know where that Proclaimers one come from, but hey, Fair enough, Scottish and all of that. Hi Adam, McTominay has saved us a few times this season. However, I think he will want to move on and he won't be happy with limited game time. I mean, some would question why a player would want you to stay as a squad player and not be in the first team, wouldn't they? Some would say there are prime examples, even at United, of players that have just been there to make up the numbers and come on and play their part off the bench. There are many that have made careers out of it. Our former manager Solskjaer was one of them. Gabriel, thank you. 5 donated memberships. They have gone to Lee Dixon, Linda Worthington, William, Ken and Jonathan. Welcome to the Members Club, my friends. Please do go on to that latest members video and check out what is coming up for you members. Thank you so much, Gabriel. I love that. Our community strikes again, the best that there is out there on YouTube. Legends, all of you. Marcy says, bye Scott lad, thanks for your time at MUFC. Really, Adam, who are these players better that can be signed for a similar fee? Listen, Graham, again, signed for a similar fee or contribution to another player which is worth more, Graham. Now, obviously, you went and got yourself a brew, and you wasn't listening at that time, Graham. Sorry, but it isn't necessarily that value. It is Scott's value can go towards another player that United want. Is that going to be a player that fits in the first team? If it is, then I'm all for selling Scott McTominay. You ain't going to get better for that same fee because it's not out there. But if we are looking to bring in better, then Scott's value needs to go towards someone which is better. Okay, now go and get your sweetener or your sugar for your brew, Gray, and sit back down. You're back in the game now, my friend. Linda says, we need a proper clear-out if we're going to improve. I agree completely. Z says, 100% agree. Clear-outs, yes. It doesn't need to be a similar fee. Could even be an upcoming with more potential. This is what I mean. We're looking at the likes of Anselmino from Boca Juniors. Real Madrid are also in for him. So you look at it and you go, okay, can we get there ahead of these big guys? If we're going to start competing again and get back up there, can we compete with these big clubs? Can we start vying for these players alongside them? We need to be there because they're doing it and they're winning from it. United need to be back in it. And Adam, who fills other holes in the squad? First of all, Graham, we need a first team. We haven't got a first team. Your squad is useless if they're not good enough to come on and do anything. Scott is important as a squad player, but not as a first team player. You need to understand that. Until we move that player on, we're not going to get any better. We need to have a player that comes in straight into the first team now. And who fills that squad spot? Well, for instance, that could be a Kobe Mainu if a better player comes in. That could be Casemiro if he isn't sold this summer. I actually think we'll get more money for Scott McTominay than we would selling Casemiro, as crazy as that sounds. I'm looking at the age. I'm looking at what he can offer. You can see where I'm going with it, can't you? Like, rotation needs to happen. If you're rotating with Scott McTominay starting games, I'm sorry, that's when we're going to start struggling. Scott is a bit part player. And if we can get the right price for him and we get someone better, or that contributes to getting someone better, then that's where you need to be thinking. We have got other players. And like I said, we need a better first team squad. We need a better first team before anything. That's what we need. And let's be honest, Graham, it has to be the right offer for Scott in the first place. Like I said, anything less than 30, then you can forget it. Scott stays. I'm just looking at it and going, if you tie him down to a 5-year deal at over 100 grand a week, are we not going down the same old road again? Are we not making an excuse for keeping him? That's what I want to get at. I love UK Garage. We won't just need to buy players better than what we've got. We need to buy players that are better than City's, Liverpool's and Arsenal's. Yeah, I understand what you're saying with that. I mean, we've got to build up to that, I feel. It's not going to happen straight away. You can't just go out in the market and get better players than them. I think most of them players that they have bought are potential players that have been made into better players at all 3 of them clubs. I think everyone that they buy has got better. That's what United used to do. But that's where we've fallen away. We've accepted that players are good, and that's it. We need exceptional. That's what we need at this football club. Let's see. Massey says, Adam, I think we could get 35 for Scott. A Villa or a West Ham, he's ideal. I think West Ham is more than ideal for. Wolves, definitely a good team for him as well. Fulham, I think, is a good fit. I mean, if you said that Scott McTominay was made as a make-weight deal for Polina, thank you. Get him there now. That's what I say. Because that is what can happen. The whole point of this video, and like I said, I understand where Graham's coming from. I do. I really do. He makes some valid points in this. But the whole point, and like I said at the start, United need to know when to sell. Because it's all right saying now it's no good. But if you don't sell him now, then he's stuck here. That's the point I'm trying to make. Manchester United have not done this well. We have to make sure that we have a recruitment in place, which is a conveyor belt, bringing in, letting players go when we need to. Right now, I feel like Scott is stuck in between all of this, and it's not his fault at all. I think Scott has done fantastic this season, and he has been a breath of fresh air at times and played his role in keeping United relevant. He really has. But United need to learn when to sell players, and like this is the last chance for me, for Scott. It is. It was the same with Maguire last summer. I don't see anyone spending a lot on Maguire. I think we've missed an opportunity there. What I'm looking at is, can we get a ready-made replacement for Scott McTominay with what finances we've got and what contribution from Scott's sale can be made? Yes, we can. I know we can. Everybody knows we can. And that's a player that you know is going to go straight into that first team. That's what it has to be. Like for likes, no. Scott stays. Anyone better that Scott's money's going towards, that's what I'm talking about. And knowing when to sell Scott McTominay for the right price. It's no point in selling him next season when he's at 28. And yeah, they'll say, oh, he's on a big contract, so we can argue more money. No, now is the time for me. Now is the time. 30 million is the right price. And United move forward. We use that money to our advantage. That's what it's all about. I mean, look at how many leading players have just stayed and got contracts. It's like everyone was probably saying when Anthony Martial got his contract, you know what? You can all see the talent. He can be a world-class player. Look at what he's done in this game. Let's roll out the YouTube reels of Anthony Martial and at his best. This is what he brings. And then there will be that one game. There will be that one game when he actually does something, and all of the bandwagoners will come out and say, I told you so. I told you this is what he was from. Well, what about the 5-6 games before that when he did jack shit? It doesn't matter about the one game. What about the 15 points that we lost in them pathetic performances beforehand? Oh, no, he got a goal in this one. That's the mentality of a lot of the United fan base. It's not everyone. I'm not saying that's everyone, but that is what it is. We've turned into fans of players rather than fans of the football club. Let it go. Just let it go. These players are not going to win us a Champions League or a Premier League. We need to make a start, and we need to make a start when players are at their most valuable, when it is easy to get rid of them. Understanding the footballing finance world and knowing when to get rid of players. That's what United have not done for God knows how long now. Gone over decades it's been now since United actually looked like a proper run football club. It really is. It's absolutely pathetic how we've been run. Everyone else knows it. Everyone else sells and reinvests back into the squad. Prime example was Coutinho to Barcelona for Liverpool. That was like the best. Everyone was like, no, you can't do that. What are they doing? They just reinvested that money back into a few different players, strung over a few years, not one exactly the same amount of money. They bought a few players with him. It can work the other way with Scott McTominay. There is no one out there for 30 million right now. No one. Graham's right in what he said. There isn't that value there. But there is players that are better that are worth 60 million that you could put that money to. And that's where United need to be investing it, I think. It's the right time. But, and again, I've got a full argument for and a full argument against with Scott McTominay. Creating chances for our strikers seems to be a hard one for our players to crack. Selfishness. There's too much pressure on every single player. I think what Gabriel is saying there, it's like, I feel like these players, if they just understood that passing the ball, and Garnacho's a prime example. He could have been greedy in that moment against Liverpool going forward. He could have seen his naming lights again, the Garnacho show. No. He squared it across. He made the right decision at the right moment, and United are in the semi-finals going to Wembley. That moment there, I don't know. Other moments in games, Rashford's done it, McTominay has done it, even Garnacho himself, poor decision-making. It's constantly there with this team, and it needs to be read out of them. But I do understand, like, these players are looking to save their own careers, and they're under that much scrutiny and pressure that they're doing things that they should not be doing. They're looking for the glory instead of making that pass and playing for the team. That's what they're doing. Lee Dixon says, we've got to start buying the best Premier League players available. We always used to do that. Yes, we did. Nathan, the key to when to sell. Stop holding on to players that have passed it. McTominay is average. He has played well to his level, not United level. He's a West Ham player, I feel. Yeah, I agree with that. West Ham is a good move for him. And the other clubs that I mentioned as well. Louise says, Rashford is more talented than Scott, but if we could only sell one, I would sell Rashford because I at least like Scott and he loves the club like we do. Rashford drops clangers and has poor attitude. I'm not going to argue about the attitude of Rashford. You can say Dalot is hot and cold. A lot of people are saying Dalot is our player of the season, by the way. He's definitely improved over the last few weeks. I know what you're saying about the hot and cold, though. I know. Is it time to sell him? We're looking for a right back. Frimpong has been well scouted by United for over a year now. So what happens then? Another player, and Kaz brought up another player earlier on today, and that was Luke Shaw. Are we holding on to Luke Shaw? Like, he has been here now. God, no, he's coming up for his testimonial. He's been here that long, but he's not. Even Gareth Southgate said today, and do you know what? I agree. Like, when he's on it, Luke Shaw, he is unstoppable. He really is unstoppable. But again, he's another, like Rashford, is a season on, season off type of player. That's what we cannot afford to have at Manchester United. We cannot build consistency with players that are hot and cold, season in, season out. It's just not doable. City's players, if they drop off, they're replaced and they're out. It doesn't matter. It was a season, I can't remember when it was. It wasn't last season, maybe the season before, where Diaz wasn't playing for City. He dropped off completely and wasn't in the first team. Pep has got a grip of his squad. He knows what mentality these players have to have. And his team above him goes out and finds them players. And then when Ten Hag would drop a player, you're not going to get the Sancho or the Rashford treatment. You're going to get a player that just goes, I'm not putting it in. I need to do more. And they will get more out of him that way. But you need to find, the recruitment has to find these players. And that's the problem that United are having. Has anyone actually offered 30 million for Scott? No, they've not. I'm just saying, if it comes in, that's it. Apparently we were offered that by West Ham last summer. And then Scott's gone and had the season he's had this season. Like I said, you had Scotland and Manchester United up. He is on 16 goals this season. He got 9 for United this season. If he gets to double figures, that is a hell of a season for goal output. He's also got 3 assists for United as well. So, in terms of contribution, no one can argue what Scott's brought this season for us. You really can't. Let me see what else we've got here. For me, Dalot is not a title-winning fullback. Boxing straight talk. This is a debate amongst all Manchester United fans. Like, who is good enough to be in this Man United squad? Some would say Dalot is. Some would say Dalot isn't. It's like people are saying Bruno Fernandes should be outed at the football club. I disagree with that one. But I do understand that there is a sell-by date. Like, and this is the whole point of this video. Is it time to cash in on certain players at Manchester United? We have to learn this art form. We do. Everyone else does it and does it well. They know when to let players go. We don't. We cling on to him forever and a day, to a point where Martial has just rinsed the club of millions and is toddling out the doors to get a big sign-on fee somewhere else for nothing. Nothing. And that is prime example right there. Jadon Sancho is taking this club to the cleaners. He really is, for his wages and what he's on. And he's not even playing for us. We are a soft touch, and players have known this. That's going to change. And changing with that, I think, has to be the fact that the club has to know when it's time for these players to be sold. It actually bugs me when everyone talks about selling McTominay. He's quality. No, he's not, Tim. He's got qualities, but he is not going to win us the league, is he? And if we were going to sell him, I'd say, for instance, right now, okay, for anyone who's arguing Scott McTominay's point, I understand it. I do know he does bring something. He isn't quality. He never was quality. He is very good, and that is it, I would say. And some would argue good, or even worse than that. But no, I do want to give Scott his props in all of this. But Scott, for me, is not going to help us win the league in the next 3 years. And then he'll be 30, and he'll be another player that's just been here forever and won absolutely nothing. And everyone will say, well done, one club man. You've got to give him credit for that. Well, what about us fans? Like, what about the fans? Like, we want success. We're paying top dollar to watch Manchester United week in, week out. And we're accepting seeing players through. Been here for God knows how long. And not getting any money back for them. And not seeing the club being run properly. No, I'm sorry. It definitely isn't the right way to run a football club for me. It really isn't. I just don't think Manchester United can continuously run this way, and I think it will change, and people will have to deal with it. They're not going to bring in people like Barada and Ashworth. They're not going to come here and have their reputations ruined. They have got great reputations. They're not going to be the next breed of Manchester United staff members and people that work for United that completely fall off and just look like they don't know what they're doing. That's what this club does to people. It does. Look, I'm sure Murto was brought in to do a different job. He was originally to do with the youth team, but he's been turned into something he's not by United, and that's the acceptance of this football club. And his career is ruined in that department for me. He's now looking like he is going to be moved down the pecking order or even moved on by the club. This is what has happened. When you've got people above that aren't qualified to do them jobs, what happens? It comes down and it filters down onto the pitch, and there you go. There's the ripple effect of everything and all the mediocrity that's been at United for so many bleeding years. We have a new member in the house, which is Neevesy. Welcome to the Members Club, my friend. Donated by the legend who is Honest Tiger. We have over 100 likes in the bag, guys. Please do keep liking the video. We're around about 300 in the room with us right now. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Get your comments in. I'm coming to you right now. Is there any player? I'm going to ask this question right now, guys. Get into it. We'll have a look at the contracts. We'll get it up. Name me a player that you think has been at the club too long. Not Scott McTominay, not Marcus Rashford. Let's leave them two out. I don't want to make this seem like I've got an agenda against them. Both players that I have scrutinised a lot, but I think fairly. Is there any other player that you think United have had at this club for too long? Let me know. We'll look them up. We'll see what the situation is with them. We'll check out what they're at contract-wise, and we'll assess it right now live on the show. It's up to you guys. This is your chance. Get a player in there now, and let's see what their situation is. I'm going to type in here just so I know I've got the squad up. Let's see. Okay, have you come up with anyone? I've got what I need to do now. I'm going to have a look right through this roster of players at United. Who've we got, guys? Who've we got? Maguire, Lindelof, anyone from Van Gaal onwards. Maguire. Right, everyone's going in on Maguire. Right, okay, let's get Maguire up on my list here. So, in terms of Harry Maguire, in the pecking order of highest paid players at the football club, he sits 9th. He only just scrapes into the top 10. Now, a lot of people would scrutinise Harry Maguire and say, look, he's earning a fortune. His basic salary is 189 grand a week. Now, I know, it's not to be sniffed at, is it? And it is ridiculous. But Yeah, when you break down Harry Maguire's contract at Manchester United, this year now, he is into his 5th year at the football club. And that contract, sorry, excuse me, is £8.5 million a year. So you can add all of that up, do what you want. But he's got 1 more year left on his contract. But then the football club they've got, when he gets to the age of 31, they have got an option to add another year to Harry Maguire. So effectively, he has got another 2 years after this year. Now, his contract does run out next year, and it's up to the club if they renew or they trigger that 1 year extension. But Harry Maguire will be 31 come the end of next season. And I agree. I think that is time for Maguire to move on. The money that he's on and the money at the age that he is, the contract situation, I would sell Harry Maguire this summer if we weren't getting rid of other players first. Like Lindelof is before him. Johnny Evans is a tough one, isn't it? It's like he's only just come in. And I don't want to disrespect Harry Maguire. I have got my issues with him. I really do. I don't think we will win the league with Harry Maguire. Very similar to Scott McTominay. But I have to give him credit again for the season he's had. Just like Scott's had. He's turned it around from last season. So in the season where we were actually getting results and finishing the Champions League and winning the trophy, Harry Maguire was slaughtered like Scott McTominay was last year. And this season, when we're bad, them two have actually turned up. So you can take from that what you want. Is it a sign that the player is actually carrying on his standard of football, and you've got to give him credit for that, even when it's bad and everyone else is crap? Or is that just to say that is their level? Like United at this standard right now, and what we're playing at is the level of a Maguire and a McTominay. If you get what I mean by that, anyway, it's a bit complicated to explain, but yeah, I'll get your comments coming in. So Maguire is one, I think, there that you could just use as prime example. A lot of fans are saying, very similar situation, just a year on from Varane. Why would you not keep Varane but keep Maguire? The whole situation, and you only have to go to the wage structure again, and top of that earners list is Casemiro and Raphael Varane at the ages of 31 and 29 right now. Both on 350 grand a week basics. That's annual salaries of 17.6 and 18.2 million between them. It's absolutely ludicrous. It really is. They were probably earning that at Real Madrid, but the problem you've got with Raphael Varane is that contract that was messed up with him. He apparently, when you look on here, this is how crazy the Varane situation is. And it's like he's out of contract in the summer. When you go on to Varane, apparently he is contracted until 25-26. That's what's set out, what everyone was told. And this apparently was a mistake by the football club. He only signed a 3-year contract. It's really, really strange, Varane's situation. And if you were going to keep him or Raphael Varane, him or Harry Maguire, you would keep Raphael Varane, wouldn't you? But the fact that he's on nearly double what Harry Maguire is the reason why he is being sold this summer. Manchester United under Ineos are looking to change that thing that has been the issue at Manchester United. Sorry, I said that completely wrong then, but that overpaid player coming into the latter years. We get the players, the right players, but we get them at the wrong time of their career. And that's been a problem with United as well. The recruitment side of things. They just look at a big name and go, oh, he's come to United. We've bought Varane. We've bought Casemiro. Well, when you look at Casemiro's setup and his contract, I'm just going to bring that one up now just so I can go through that. Highest paid player at Manchester United. He will be 34. And United will have an option to extend that contract as well. So he signed a 4-year base with the option to add another year. So he can just sit pretty if he wants. I'm not saying he's not earned that money. I mean, if we get in the Champions League again, then he's probably earned that in a way. Because he's contributed to keeping United relevant and in the big competition. So you can see the problems we've got. You can see the problems we've got at this football club and how it's been run and what Ineos have to change. And unfortunately, the better players that are on bigger money are the ones that are probably going to get the example set of them. I just feel like there are other options there as well, which is why I wanted to make this. It isn't specifically about Scott. He's got a year left and is worth decent money for us right now. And that's the decision that the club have to make. Are we going to see a change in how Manchester United operate? Are we going to see a significant change? Because Scott would be a big one. He really would be a big one. My first memory was Norman Whiteside winning the FA Cup. Bad Dad remembers that one. Oh, sorry, guys. You're just talking amongst yourselves there with that one. Gabriel says McTominay are known for his will to give his all in training, showing the other players how it's done. But it only shows that standards being lowered since Sir Alex Ferguson. Standards have dropped. Again, I don't want to dig Scott McTominay out. He has given everything. It's not his fault, any of this. It's not his fault that he's been kept by all the other managers. It really isn't. The fact that he has been an ever-present in every manager since Sir Alex Ferguson shows you that he has got qualities. And he does bring something to United. But you do have to move forward. You have to move on. And he is a player that is, for me, on that out list. He is. He is going to be. If it's not this season, it's probably going to be next. Actually, no. If it's not this season, I said that completely wrong there. He's going to get a new contract if he doesn't. If he doesn't get sold this summer, then he will be on a new contract, and then that's it. That's him done. I feel he will just see out his career at United. Maybe move on towards the latter years, but I just feel like Scott will want to play football. He is happy to be on the bench though as well. I think he's a player that knows his role at the football club. And there is something commendable for that. It really is. It's a commitment to the club and your boyhood club. Like, as a United supporter, you won't want to leave the football club, will you? But if you want to be a big football club again and bring your team back up there, then you have to make horrible, awkward decisions. And this is one of them. Like, Barada coming in won't care what Scott's done before. He'll look at the value of Scott McTominay and he will go, yeah, we can sell him. We can bring someone else in better. I don't really want to give this player who isn't going to be on the pitch starting games, I don't want to give him over 100 grand a week, which I think is what his agent would argue is worth right now. Like, he is one of the... let me just check in terms of Scott McTominay where he is actually at on this wage bill. You have to scroll right down. And Scott McTominay... Johnny Evans is on more than Scott McTominay, guys. That's disgraceful. Amrabat, who is signed on bleeding loan, he's on more money than Scott McTominay. This is where this football club has gone completely tits up. That is a disgrace. That is a disgrace. If United wanted Amrabat, I think that they needed negotiating in. That was just ridiculous. That shouts out complete and utter desperation for me at the end of a transfer window. How two players that are not long-term can come in and earn more money than Scott McTominay. And you can argue all you want about Scott and his qualities, but he is worth more for me than Johnny Evans and Amrabat. It's absolutely criminal what Scott is on. I mean, Tom Eaton, he's on 15 grand less, just 15 grand less than what Scott is. He deserves a better contract, but Scott deserves first-team football elsewhere as well. And that's the problem. And just to tell you guys exactly how much money everyone else is on that isn't contributing anything to Manchester United. Listen to this, yeah? These are annual salaries for players that are out on loan right now for Manchester United. 13 million a year, Jadon Sancho. 6.2 million a year, Donny van der Beek. 3.3 million a year, Brandon Williams. 2.6 million a year, Mason Greenwood. 1 million a year for Kundo Palestra, 250 grand a year for Hannibal Medre. Add all of that up, and that's what United cannot make work in this football club. And you try and tell me that this club knows what they're doing. Omar Barada is going to rip this completely up and go, what in the hell are you doing? What has been going on here at Manchester United? I'm sure in that audit from Sir David Brailsford, Sir Jim Radcliffe, and what their discussions have been one of, what the actual F? Like, seriously, how can this club run like this? You have got upwards of £30 million worth of annual salaries a year elsewhere playing for other clubs. Like, it's ludicrous. It really is. I think the big problem for us is these inverted wide forwards. They offer nothing in that system. Do you have to change them players to make that system work, or do you change the system? I would say boxing. Hopefully, with a new structure, we stop being a retirement village giving insane wages. That's from Z. Stu says, Henry Long, I'm struggling to understand that, mate. I've no idea what that's about, but I read it out anyway. Honestly, I would do better than Brandon Williams for $3 million a year. We're nearly at 150 likes, guys, so please keep liking the video, guys. Really appreciate that. Make sure you download our SofaScore app. Bottom right-hand corner there is a QR code. Scan that, and you have got a free app. Just download it to your phone. The best football stats app out there. They bring us all our stats on match days here on Forever United TV. All team news, information off the pitch, as well as what's going on it in the middle of the game. Get on it right now. The best football app out there. It is on point and is as accurate and as fast as you're going to get. Lee Dixon says, Amrabat was a shocking signing, right up there with Weghorst, who's are the deals I never want to see at United again. I agree. Like, some of our loan deals have been ludicrous. Loans just don't work for United. I mean, Sabitzer was good last season. I'll agree. He was useful. But let's not forget, I think he missed about 2 months of the last 6 months through injury as well. So there's a reason why United got him, because Bayern weren't using him. Amrabat has always been crap. People got way overhyped about him, and Scott's way better player than Amrabat. That's why Scott comes on the pitch and Amrabat doesn't. Like, you only have to look at what Manchester United have done, and them numbers that I've just said there then. It's ludicrous how Manchester United are in the position where we're in right now and how much money we are blowing on wages. It's absolutely criminal. The only thing I will say on that is that United have got some good players tied down on decent money. Like, you only have to look at, let's just say, Lisandro Martinez, 120 grand a week. I mean, that's good business. And he is on a 5-year deal into the second year of it now. Now, that's what you want. At the end of that deal, Lisandro will be 28 and probably worth a 2-year extension in maybe a couple of years' time. I think that's fair. That's good business for Manchester United. Another player I'll pick out is Rasmus Højlund, a 20-year-old. Looks like we've made a right find here. And Manchester United have signed him up to a 5-year deal with an option of a 6 on just 85 grand a week. Good business. So there are people at United that have got an eye for talent and can work here at the football club. It's up to Ineos to harness what is good here already and then add to it in their own way. The bad and the good of Manchester United right there in one wage structure. You can see it. They are doing things a little bit better. And there has been a big effort to make things work better for United off the pitch, player-wise anyway. You can see it. There has been a concerted effort from Manchester United to make things work better. Since Ed Woodward left, definitely. I think it's tried to improve. But we did get a bit desperate for Ten Hag. I think Murto definitely ballsed up there big time. 100% did. There's been a few dodgy ones. I'm not going to just completely lambast them and say it's all been bad, because like I just said there then, there is some good ones. We've got Garnacho signed up to a 5-year deal on 50 grand a week. And how good is that? Do you know what I mean? They get Mainu sorted as well, and you've got 3 players there on nowhere near 100 grand a week, tied down for the next 5 years in Mainu, Højlund and Garnacho. It's brilliant. That's what you want to see. Henry says, Adam, that is the problem. I was referring to these players on good wages. So what I said, Adam, is what would you do to make him go? What would I make him do to make who go? Not you go, who go? Which player, Henry? Just let me know before we end the stream. Give Tommy a raise and give him an incentive to get better. I'm laughing emojis next to that. I sort of know where you're going with that one, Fred. No. Merto equals Mr. Bean. MDR Samurai. Adam, we have to stop thinking about the quick fix. Yep, we do. We need to buy young and developed talent rather than buying names who never seem to develop or pay off. Them 3 names that I mentioned right there, on decent wages, on a good structure, exactly what United need to be doing. It's exactly what we need to be looking for. Garnacho, Højlund and Mainu, all on long-term deals. None of them on more than over 90 grand a week. That is what United need to be doing, and that's how we need to operate going forward. We definitely do. Hopefully that made sense, that whole video, guys. I really appreciate all of your input, all of your comments. Another 6 new members in the house tonight. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you do hit the video on the way out. We are done and dusted, everybody. Thank you so much. It has been a ball. I like doing videos like that as well. I like getting your input into all of it, guys. But yeah, we are done. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button if you are tuning in for the first time. I'm Adam. This is Forever United TV. We will be back tomorrow, guys. Until then, have a great evening. Enjoy yourselves. Not too much. And I'll see you all tomorrow.